Hey, it's Bethany. Welcome to my Trichotillomania journey. I wanted to just, dive deeper into, the roots of trichotillomania and anxiety that it essentially stems from. So let's start with literally the meaning of the word. Trich, meaning hair, I believe, the word trick translates into hair, the word tillin translates to pull, and the word mania translates into madness or frenzy. So if that tells you anything, and I'm sure everyone watching already has this, but for anybody who doesn't, that breaks it down for you. Literally, you have this unresistible urge to insanely pull your hair out. It's a neurological disorder. It's part of you. You can work really, really hard to control it, but you'll always have it. So you'll constantly just be fighting with it every day of your life. So for those of you who are like, well, why don't you just stop? Like, it's literally not like that. It's part of your neurological core. It's been wired into your brain. And maybe not from the beginning, but something has triggered that switch to go off. Pretty sure I went over this in one of my other videos. Is my switch that went off was being 11 or 12 years old, being sick with the flu and feeling horrible, and then woke up with no eyelashes, and then it just spiraled out of control from there. But the other thing is the majority of babies have trichotillomania. So you know how babies, they like to just like pull at your hair all the time? I mean, they're not pulling, they're actually feeling, but they don't have that sensory control yet. So it's pulling. That is trichotillomania. Babies are born with it, most of them, because they just want to feel it. It's a comfort for them. You don't believe me, but Google it. Like, it's the truth. So, but they, babies grow out of it, eventually. Most of us do. And then by the time anywhere from 9 to 13 is that age where you are prone to getting it permanently, because babies only get it temporarily when they're young and dependent and need that comfort and that security of feeling that you're there. So from the ages of 9 to 13 is when you're prone to having something happen to you in your life that would trigger that, I guess. And, I've heard in some cases, sometimes there's nothing that triggers it. It's just like happens for some reason. And there really is no explanation, other than that triggering thing. Like for me, it was the flu. Everybody gets the flu, but why did I get triggered trichotillomania? That's where it comes in, where there is no scientific explanation to why it happens. Like, it's an actual medical condition, but scientists still don't know why. I mean, and there's no cure. There really is no cure whatsoever. So that's why I get not only aggravated, but hurt when people are like, well, why don't you just stop? You need to stop. Well, you know that people are going to notice. Like, well, of course I know that people are going to notice if I have a hunk of hair missing from my head. You don't think I notice? Obviously I do. This is clearly an emotional thing for me. Like, if I could stop, I would. Like, that's been my struggle throughout this entire thing, is because nobody understands unless they have it. And that's why it's so emotional. And it's such a taboo thing to talk about because it's self-inflicted. And in our minds, we're thinking, well, we're doing it to ourselves. So obviously it's our fault and we should feel bad about it. Therefore, we should feel ashamed. Therefore, we should be hiding and covering it up and lying to our loved ones and our friends and making excuses. Well, that really shouldn't be the case. That's just digging a deeper hole for our emotional well-being. And I think that we should be educating people about this because it's not our fault. We have a medical condition that we cannot control. And if anybody doesn't understand that, they can go suck it. Honestly. You have anything to say to me about this and why I don't have it under control, which I'm doing okay right now, but through these past 18 years, if you have anything to say to me about why I don't have this under control, I would love for you to live a day in my shoes and see how you handle it, because I guarantee you would suck at it. And at the end of the day, you would have no hair left on your head. Just saying. I've done a really good job, and all of you Trichotillomania sufferers have done a really good job at doing your absolute best on maintaining what you can with it. Whatever various stage you are at with it, you've done your very best. And you know what? That's all that matters. And anybody else's opinion of it can just fly out the door. Because if they have an opinion about it, they obviously don't care enough about you to understand what you're going through and be there for you and be supportive. Just my take and my personal experience. So the other thing, going deeper into trichotillomania, other than the literal meaning of the word, is the fact that it is linked to anxiety. I never thought I had anxiety. I just thought I was a crazy nut job, that there was something wrong with me and I just needed to fix it. Part of that was everyone else around me telling me, well, you need to just stop it. Well, that's not really how it works, like at all. And it wasn't until recently when a loved one of mine, who has severe anxiety, far more than I do, surprisingly, and maybe a bit of depression, maybe a bit of bipolar, don't know, but at least we've nailed the anxiety part, but it's real bad, was on the wrong medication for a really, really long time, and they finally got on the right medication, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this out too. So I got on the correct anxiety medication for myself at the same time, and I've been feeling a lot better in the sense that now I'm able to control a little better my trichotillomania. And it also, this loved one being on the correct anxiety medication brought my anxiety levels down like 95%. So that was helpful in and of itself. And then I got on my own and I was like, okay, I'm feeling really good. Like I'm feeling in control. And then I got, my lovely closure from Andrea, and I've been unable to reach any of these areas, and I have all these other things going on for me, and it's helping me as well. But I just wanted to touch on the anxiety portion of it, is that it's most of the time rooted from anxiety. Now, I don't know where my initial anxiety was rooted from, because obviously it wasn't bad enough to the point where I noticed until recently when I was addressing someone else's anxiety. So who knows where it stemmed from? I don't think it's really stemmed from anything for anybody. I guess I just assumed I was fine in the anxiety department and just going psychotic in the whole like crazy department, and didn't really link them together for the longest time. So I think that's a really big part of it as well. But I also don't think that doing one thing or another is going to help you on your road to recovery. I think you just need to do everything you possibly can at the same time in conjunction with each other, and just like 100% focus on it. Spend your entire being focus on this, and honestly, for a little bit, some of the other important things in your life might get put to the side for a little bit, but you need to focus on yourself because you're important too. So I don't know. I guess anyone with Trichotillomania watching this, which I'm pretty sure that's all who's watching, but if there's anybody who doesn't have this and they're just curious, or you're a family member and you're trying to watch and see what the heck's going on with me because I'm crazy, it's way, way more deep and intense than just you're pulling your hair out. It's not like that. I don't know how else to make this more serious for anybody who doesn't understand. But it's an actual medical condition, and it's uncurable. And there's also no reason to why anyone has it. So I guess that's the depth of trichotillomania. I don't know if I can add anything to that, but if anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm an open book. Ask me.